Oh, it's impossible to define Jimmy. Think of him as a simple kind of man, like in the Leonard Skinner song. He takes his time, doesn't live too fast.
One of the major figures of the folk and pop music movement in the United States, Bob Dylan is not just a singer or songwriter. He is an institution in himself. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Dylan has been the darling of generations of music lovers. Maybe that's why he refuses to associate his name with the music of any particular generation. The talented musician is also a multi-instrumentalist who can play the guitar, keyboards, and harmonica. He is a versatile singer, though his biggest contribution to the world of music is considered to be his songwriting. His songs revolve around the issues facing the common man, be they social, political, or philosophical. The musician also loves to paint, and his works have been displayed in major art galleries.
Takes his time, doesn't live too fast. Troubles come, but they will pass. Find a woman and find love, and don't forget there's always someone above.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Net Worth Now, where you get to see the lifestyle and net worth of your favorite celebrities. We hope you enjoy these videos, and if you do, please remember to hit the like button and comment below who your favorite celebrity is so we can feature them in an upcoming video.
His full name is Robert Dylan, also known as Elston Gunn, Blind Boy Grunt, Tatum Porterhouse, and Zimmy. He was born on May 24th, 1941 in Duluth, Minnesota, United States, making him 80 years old at the time of this production. He stands at 5 feet 7 inches or 170 centimeters. On October 13, 2016, the Nobel Prize Committee announced that it would be awarding Dylan the Nobel Prize in Literature for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. He is a painter as well and has showcased his work in several ways. The public first saw Dylan's visual art via a painting he contributed to the cover of the band's music from the Big Pink album in 1968. The cover of Dylan's own 1970 album Self-Portrait features Dylan's painting of a human face. Dylan's first serious relationship was with artist Susie Rotolo, a daughter of Communist Party USA radicals. The relationship ended in 1964. In April of 1961, when Jo Baez first met Dylan, she already had released her first album and was acclaimed as the Queen of Folk. In July 1963, Baez invited Dylan to join her on stage at the Newport Folk Festival, setting the scene for similar duets over the next 2 years. By the time of Dylan's 1965 tour of the UK, their romantic relationship had begun to fizzle out. Baez later toured with Dylan as a performer in his Rolling Thunder Revue in 1975 to 1976. Dylan and Baez toured together again in 1984 with Carlos Santana. Dylan married Sarah Lowens, who had worked as a model and a secretary at Drew Associates, on November 22, 1965. Their first child, Jesse Byron Dylan, was born on January 6, 1966, and they had 3 more children: Anna Lee, Samuel Isaac Abram, and Jacob Luke. Dylan also adopted Sarah's daughter from a prior marriage, Maria Lowens. Bob and Sarah Dylan were divorced on June 29, 1977. Dylan and his backup singer, Carol Dennis, have a daughter, Desiree Gabrielle Dennis Dylan, born on January 31, 1986. The couple was married on June 4, 1986, and divorced in October 1992. Their marriage and child remained a closely guarded secret until the publication of Howard Sinnes' biography, Down the Highway: The Life of Bob Dylan, in 2001.
It was a traditional review, but it was in the traditional form of a review.
He was born as Robert Allen Zimmerman to Abram Zimmerman and Beatrice Stone in Minnesota, where he was raised in a close-knit Jewish community. He loved music from a young age and spent hours listening to the radio. He attended Hibbing High School, and as a student, he played with many bands. He enrolled in the University of Minnesota in 1959. While in university, he started performing at coffee houses and became active in the Dinkytown folk music circuit. He changed his name to Bob Dylan when he started performing. After quitting college in 1960, he went to New York City in 1961 in order to pursue a career in music. he started playing at clubs and explored the music scenario. His eponymous debut album, Bob Dylan, was released in 1962. It contained folk songs and two of Dylan's compositions. The album did not do well. The next album he released, The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, 1963, became a big hit in both the United States and the United Kingdom. The album was a combination of protest songs, love songs, and blues with social messages, which greatly appealed to the audience and popularized the singer. Over the 1960s, he became immensely popular both as a songwriter and a singer. During this time, he also actively became involved in the civil rights movement. One of his biggest hits, the single Like a Rolling Stone, was released in 1965, which peaked at number 1 in the UK charts. In the 1970s, he ventured into films and starred in the 1973 Western drama Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. He also composed and sang several songs for the film. The film, however, was a failure at the box office. He embarked on a year-long world tour in 1978, in which he was accompanied by an 8-piece band and 3 backing singers. He performed concerts in Japan, Europe, and the US, giving a total of 114 shows. This tour earned him more than $20 million. Over the 1980s, he took to touring more and often collaborated with other musicians and bands. He toured extensively with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers during 1986 through 1987. Some of his biggest albums of the period include Infidels, 1983, Knocked Out Loaded, 1986, and Oh Mercy in 1989. He continued performing through the 1990s, though he was no longer one of the top musicians, but he surprised his dissenters by producing the album Time Out of My Mind in 1997, which went on to win 3 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year award. The prolific singer continued releasing albums, touring and performing stage shows well into the 2000s. Even though now he was in his 60s, ever a music lover, he still keeps active and released the album Tempest in 2012. His album Blonde on Blonde was one of his first major hits. It peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200 chart in the US and number 3 in the UK. It was commercially very successful and went double platinum in the US. His 1975 album, Blood on the Tracks, is considered to be one of his greatest albums. It peaked at number 1 in the US and is counted among Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. The album Slow Train Coming, out in 1979, peaked at number 1 in Australia. The album explored the musician's newfound Christian faith and stressed upon the relevance of Christian philosophy, drawing religious people to it. It went platinum in the US and Canada.
To the core of what this Rolling Thunder thing is all about. And I don't have a clue, because it's about nothing. It's just something that happened 40 years ago.
According to estimates, Dylan makes around $15 million every year from his works royalty streams at the ripe age of 80. As of 2021, his net worth is estimated to be around $350 million. Dylan built his own Malibu compound in Point Dume. The designers and architect were famous for their work on homes of rock stars and pro athletes, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Dylan Mansion is a hodgepodge of Santa Fe Spanish and Moorish appointments, including a Russian-styled copper dome crowning the tallest tower. Might be the most eccentric property ever built. The design is almost religious in adherence to the aesthetics of Spanish colonial and missionary revival movements in Southern California. After his famous accident, he rarely drives and does not own any cars, but has been seen in a Cadillac Escalade.